sinks, and those are the very first things that you do in your kitchen. We are going to start on the actual cleaning portion of the kitchen. I try and have extra spray. Some of our clients will use our DZ7 that we're using, our cleaner degreaser. Other clients actually prefer to have On Guard or some sort of essential oil spray in their kitchen. I have a couple of clients that way. Either way, go ahead and load the rags with that. And depending on the amount of dirt. Now this particular kitchen is pretty darn messy, so what we're doing is a deeper amount, a lot more wet of a rag. But before we can really get to that, we have clutter to pick up. So now with the little pieces of stuff, you're going to combine those all into one area, and you're going to notice that there's probably a clutter spot in a kitchen if there is clutter in general. So you're going to probably put all of the stuff that you picked up on its own pile. Okay? Now as you can see, this area right here has a lot of clutter, and so what we're going to be wanting to do is picking up a pile, wiping underneath of it, picking up a pile, wiping underneath of it, and so on and so forth. Okay? Now if there is more than, you know, you thinking, okay, well this is a little much, then don't deal with that clutter area. If they're not going to do the organization before you get there, then you don't need to worry about it, and it's usually not something that they're worried about you cleaning under anyways. So, for example, as you can see, I moved from clutter and I got focused on here. Always remember to clean from the top down. Now as you can see, I'm not going to be able to touch these top cupboards up here. Okay, that is not something that needs to be done, but maybe once a year is climbing up there. So we have two options. There's a step stool that we have provided, or you can use a chair or bench from someone else, or you can just hop up there, you know, and get there. So now this is just something that only needs done once in a while. So it's something that if you are checking to see if it needs done, you do the white glove test. Look, it doesn't even need done. So don't even bother with it. Okay? So, but on everything else that is height for everyone else to reach, you're going to want to do the L shape on here. And now if there's papers and stuff, be careful with that. Then the handles, you're going to open it up and you're going to do the inside area of it, getting all that little bit of debris, getting the inside hinge, and then this inside horizontal as well. Okay? So inside hinge, inside L shape. Okay? And then as you can see, this one has another horizontal here that'll need to be wiped as well. But before I move on, since I'm starting on one side of the kitchen, what we're going to do is do a exterior spiral in. Now if you would like to spiral out, you can do that as well. So for example, if you want to start on the island and work your way from the top down on the island and then spiral your way out, you can do that as well. With this particular kitchen, I had clutter to deal with, moved the clutter over here, did some cleaning, and I ended up starting on the exterior, and then I'm going to spiral in. That has to happen. That spiral has to happen so you do not forget anything. So since I'm over here, since I already have cleaned or sprayed the inside of the microwave, one of the things that we're going to be doing now is to open up the microwave with your clean rag and do the front door of the microwave. This ledge right here is somewhat tricky. You can tend to find that you will be wiping and re-wiping all little bits of food particles out of there. This is one of those things with a microwave. You're going to end up finding that you can do this with either a freshly clean rag. You know, I start with a square, but then I'll end up folding it this way, and then I will unfold it and refold it the other way to make sure that you're always getting those crumbs. And then once it starts, you can shake it like this. You'll see me doing that just out of habit, okay? because with our cleaning, we're cleaning it from top to bottom. In other words, everything that we're cleaning here, if there's crumbs, we're going to shake it down to the floor, and we're going to then clean the floor before we leave that kitchen. So it's not a big deal with, you know, shaking a little bit off. There's only been 1 or 2 houses that I've been in that have carpeting in the kitchen. Those are the houses you don't shake in, and you're going to need to have more rags so that you can just throw the rags into the rag bag at those times. With a microwave, these things, if dropped on their sides, shatter, and then I have to replace the entirety of the microwave, which sucks. Let's not do that. So always pull that up against yourself, rotate it from side to side. Now if there's some cooked on stuff and it's just not coming off, set it off to the side, use your steel wool and scrape on it. So what I'll do is I'll set that off to the side while I'm cleaning the other parts of the microwave. I tend to not have to clean this part. I just set it off to the side. So when you're starting in the microwave, you're going to want to start on the top, the back, and the sides, and then the bottom. And like I said, all of those particles are going to get pulled out onto the floor. So top, it's kind of like a mirror. You're wanting to do the inside area of it and then the framework around the outside to make sure that you get all of those particles done. So you're doing the inside and then you're getting the crevices with your fingers at the end. So always look for any pieces of food particles that are still clinging on or that you accidentally moved from one place to another. The hardest part is actually these back 2 corners right here in the microwave. As you can see, even though I've done that area, they're still stuck in those corners. And so you're going to have to come in with the rag. I'm doing it with my fingers so you can see it. You're going to have to come in with a rag and kind of do an extra little bit of detail work back there. So as you can see, you're just continuing to pull all of the little pieces of little itty bitty pieces of dirt out. Then you finalize with doing this exterior portion right here, which includes the hinges and any horizontals out here. Now, I know this is kind of, you're like, it's a little excessive, but the thing is, it may feel a little excessive, but it's those extra details. The reasons I've heard for some of our very even higher end clients are that if it's not done better than they can do it, then they don't know why they're paying the extra money. They could do it themselves. So after that's done, you go ahead and you put this in. Again, be very careful with that oven, the microwave tray. We don't want to drop that. Double check everything before you close it. That's the last time you're going to be opening up that microwave, except for the outside, which at the very end, right after we get done with the sink, then we're going to be doing the stainless steel cleaner as well. So I'm going to move down. Remember, we go from top to bottom. Okay. And yes, I am cleaning this with the DZ7 first. All surfaces need to be cleaned with the DZ7 first, and then polished with the stainless steel cleaner afterwards. When we're dealing with CDC standards, granted this isn't going to sanitize it, it may not even disinfect it, but it is going to do a lot better than if we hadn't touched it. So as you can see, I'm already down on my knees. The thing is, I have started from here down to here, but with the lighting, I couldn't even notice that I forgot to do this part right here. I didn't see the fingerprints. So as I went through, getting down on your knees, that's why we have those knee pads. Yeah, don't laugh, I forgot mine. Don't forget them. Your joints are gonna wish you hadn't. So you get down low, and you're gonna see that, yeah, you're gonna be pushing buttons if you're, cleaning up on stuff like that. Don't worry about it, just always hit cancel afterwards. Okay? So as you can see, we started from the top down, we're moving across, and that's the same thing here. So, for example, this right here, we're going to do a quick check. White glove check, it doesn't need done. We're gonna put it back, but we're gonna keep moving on down the road. So essentially, I'm checking from the top down, which was a little bit further on, but then I'm gonna be coming down and moving forward. So this whole entire section will be done before I move on. Okay? Now, when you're moving things over, as you can see, I shifted all of these over. And yeah, they're gonna kind of notice that. But at the same time, they also notice that it was done, okay? So you've got two types of people that we're gonna clean for. One of them is gonna be upset that you move things. And honestly, they're the kind of people that probably don't clean their own house either. Like, maybe the husbands get upset that you move things 4 inches over. Don't worry about that. It is your job. It's not your job to get everything immaculately back to where it was. You're usually in a house for the efficiency of it. So you have a certain amount of time to go through a kitchen. In some small kitchens or a very highly customized kitchen, you're going to spend anywhere between 25 to 45 minutes in a kitchen. In this particular kitchen, with the size of it and the large island, you're going to be spending about 60 to 90 minutes in that kitchen. And the reason being is that there's just so much to do, okay? So as you can see, we are doing the top line of the drawer, pulling it out, checking this one as well for any like spills, like if it was open and it got spilled. While I'm down here, I'm also eyeballing my own work up here to see if it was done. Because as you can see, you can't see the crumbs from up here. There's just too much light reflecting off of these beautiful countertops. So honestly, that's something that you've got to do from a lower angle, is get down here and do this. Okay? One of the things that you're checking on these drawers are for splatters. Okay? You're going to have a toothbrush in your either back pocket or in your apron. Again, I forgot my knee pads in my apron. It was in another vehicle. So don't forget that toothbrush. There should be an extra one either in the supply box in the team lead's vehicle or in the bucket that you brought in. Now, you're going to be touching all of the handles and all the fronts of these drawers. And then you're checking in this main area right here to see if there's any splatters that had been kind of brought in over the course of the between sessions. Now, this is another time where I'm finding splatters over here on this extended area, but none on the inside. So you're going to just keep moving forward looking for those things. Remember, we've got that horizontal surface on the inside of the cupboard. And then we're going to be doing the top, middle horizontal, both of the hinges. We're going to be doing a little bit of the inside area as much as we can for any pieces of debris out there. Eyeballing the front of the cupboard. In this case, we've got a little bit of paint. Okay, we're not going to be taking the paint off of the cupboard. There's a fine line between cleaning and home improvement. Don't cross that line. We didn't. It's not exactly something that we'll have time to continue to do. But if you feel like you can go above and beyond because there's, like for example today, we talked about that the ovens really didn't need cleaning. So I'm going to be focusing a little bit extra amount of time on the detail work of the cupboards and drawers today. So one of the things that we can do, and I don't know if you can come in here and see this, is we've got a little bit of buildup here in the corners of these cupboards. Now this one might be actually a little bit better. As you can see, the cupboard you know, has some buildup going on right there, we can spray it directly, get a toothbrush in there, trying to get it out of the corner, and then see, it's almost impossible without spraying directly into that corner. So this is that extra detail work that's not always going to be done in every house, but needs to be maintained, okay? So always, if you're spraying directly onto that cupboard, that is something that gets wiped off nearly immediately, okay? So far we've learned to work from the top down. So that also goes with baseboards. As you can see, I'm coming up to a baseboard, but I'm going to be using this rag on countertops and cupboards and door handles. So this is not something that I'm going to be able to get. So these baseboards are something that we're going to probably catch at the very end when we're sweeping out and dealing with underneath the toe kick area. Okay, so as you're coming up to a door, you're kind of stepping side to side, seeing if there's any splatter work. With our gloves on, we can't tell if it's super sticky or anything like that. So we really have to use our eyeballs on a lot of this stuff. And so we've got some work over here that needs to be done with a toothbrush. Again, not always something you're going to have time for, nor is it something that they want. It's really based on T-sheets where we have those notes for the house. It'll tell you how much time you have for that particular room. And so that's how you're going to judge how much extra detail work to do. Over time though, you may have to give up on, say, cleaning the inside of an oven so that you can detail the work on the outside of the doors or the other different details in that kitchen. For example, today we have the opportunity to do some extra work in the inside of the refrigerator as well, since we didn't have so much to do in the ovens. Okay, so as you can see, we're going to be moving on around the kitchen. We do not want to skip around and jump around from place to place, because that will mean that we will miss something in the kitchen, okay? So as you can see, the moment I'm coming around to this appliance, I'm wiping it down, getting little pieces of food off. We'll even probably take that off to kind of get to the stuff underneath here. So even on the appliance, I don't know if you noticed that, I started on the top down of the appliance. Do not work harder. This will just cause more pain if you don't learn to work from the top down. And more work for yourself. Okay, so I started from the top down. I did this cupboard, but there's also this stuff here, okay? Don't forget that kind of stuff. You're going to have light switches and this kind of stuff that needs to be somewhat detailed, because it gets touched all the time, and it would be a high germ, high touch surface, which is also on the receipt that we leave. So if you need to get out your toothbrush to get in between that and like hold on to the light switch, keep it down so that it doesn't get in there and have the lights go on and off, that kind of thing. So I kind of hold that down, get up in there. It's usually the top of light switches that you have to worry about. Now this is the newer style light switch, the one that kind of toggles up. You'll have to brush underneath of it and then toggle it down and brush over the top of it as well. So again, we're going to be doing the fronts of these cupboards like this. Now, granted, watching me clean a kitchen is probably on the top 10 things worst you know, oh great, I get to watch paint dry. And I apologize for that, but what I really want to hammer on is the fact that this doesn't get done by anyone else than you, okay? There is nobody else in this house that's gonna do this job. And nobody that can do this job better than you can, because you have been given the opportunity to do this job better than anyone else in this particular time in your life, in this particular time in history. So, you need to be working on your craft as hard as you can, because this is a skill not only just for your job today, but it's also something that eventually, I mean, you're gonna use in your own home. I've had moms that have been cleaning their own homes for all these years, and they get to the point where they come and work for me and they say, oh, well, that is a whole lot more efficient. So I want you to realize that what I'm teaching you right now is something that you can take with you no matter where your career takes you. Okay, as you can see, I'm working from the top down. I'm working around the stuff that's sitting here. We're always finding clutter and dealing with that. Now, I don't know if you've noticed, but about 3 times I've probably put some more cleaner on my rag. Probably means that I'm about ready to get rid of this rag, because it's just not picking up the things off the countertops. So I'm having to kind of go over it twice. So you always can reload that rag, or you can go and get another rag. So again, I'm going to reiterate what I did here on the dishwasher as you saw me do it. I do this, I do this, I do the inside, I do the outside, so 1, 2, and then here. Yes, there's a chance that you're going to be moving some magnets and stuff that goes for the refrigerator. I always try and place them nice and neat back on there, partly due to the fact that something you cleaned and then you're replacing it. Anything that you do is going to look professional. So try and space it out and make it nice when you put them back. Okay? The cupboards in front of the sink are usually going to be the highest splatter cupboards. So you're going to have to spend maybe a little extra time on those in particular, even in those clean houses that you're like, why am I even here? Well, those cupboards, that kind of stuff, the people that